Welcome to Ploughman's Backyard. My name is Kendra, and today we're going to be talking about sour cherries. I know you're probably thinking, like, I'm not going to want that at all. But the one thing that I love about these is that they are bushes, they're not trees, and they are cold hardy up to zone 2. So they're great for the northern climates. So these sour cherries are actually part of a romance series called Juliet, Romeo, Cupid, Valentine's, and Crimson Passion. So they're all very similar. They are on the bit of a tart side of a cherry, but once they are fully ripened, they're actually quite sweet. They're not bad at all. The nice thing about these, they're great for northern climates. They are disease resistant. We have had these growing, I want to say about 2018, 2019, we planted them. In about 2022, we had a first little bit of cherries. They were very sparse on these bushes. Last year in 2023, we did have quite a number. Now this year in 2024, they were full. And anyways, I probably should have videoed this yesterday because this bush was completely covered in red cherries. There's not a whole lot left. You can see there's some down here. They're not quite ripened yet. The ones that we had yesterday were fantastic. They were actually really on this, like on the sweeter side of a tart cherry. Really nice to eat just fresh, but the birds got to them. So that's one thing you do have to watch with cherries. It's either you get them one day or you don't the next. One really great thing about this is that they were developed in Western Canada, so they're great for Canada. If you're looking for an alternative to maybe a cherry tree, this cherry bush grows very fast. They grow from anywhere about, I want to say the smallest of the romance series is about 5 to 6 feet tall. This is one of the larger varieties. I want to say this one possibly could be Valentine, but I'm not 100% sure, or Crimson Passion. And you can see how tall it is. I am about 5'2" maybe. Now the largest of the series actually grows to about 8 feet tall, and they are a great alternative if you're looking for like a privacy bush or something. They grow very big and they're producing fruit. Much like the hazelbird bushes that I have growing. They're about, I want to say they're probably about 9 or 10 feet tall now. A great privacy bush, but you're getting produce, you're getting food from it, you're getting nuts from it. This is another great alternative for a privacy bush if you're looking for a privacy bush that also gives you some produce. So it gives you some great cherries. Now, the nice thing about these is you can eat them fresh like we have been doing, or you can use them for pies. They're best known for their pies. You can also do like preserves such as jams and jellies. You can make a nice cherry syrup from this, or you can do some crumbles or some sort of tarts from these. These don't have to just be used as fresh eating. They don't have to just be used as pie cherries, but you can do a number of things that you can do with any of the other types of fruits that you want to grow. The reason why I really like these is I can pretty much put them anywhere. They say cherry trees typically like a more acidic environment. I haven't added any acidity to any of these, and they've been growing phenomenal. The one thing I would tell you is if you're growing them anywhere, they like good drainage, so not in a wet area. They love full sun, but making sure that you keep a lot of the growth and weeds trimmed down around them, because it'll really stunt their growth if you don't keep up with that. So I do have some trimming to do back here, but basically a good parameter I do tend to keep weeded and mowed, just so that I'm not stunting the growth as it's developing. Now, these are, well, they're mature bushes, but they are pretty well almost full grown. I do have one that is quite small that still needs to kind of catch up. But so far I've got 3 cherries right here, and I've got one somewhere else that's not doing quite as well. You can see this one's got a few cherries growing on it. This one was completely stacked yesterday. I can't believe I didn't get any footage of it, but I can see there's lots of bites out of these cherries here. If I go a little bit further down, you can see that there's lots coming here. And they are, so basically I just ended up harvesting my haskaps, which is one of the first fruits I think that we have on the property. And my currants are just about ready to be picked as well. And they come about the same time as the currants. And then once these are done, then my blueberries should be ready, and my raspberries around the same time. So it's nice that there's a continuous supply of fruits growing. So when you're thinking about putting different fruits on your property, small fruits, bushes, whatever, it's nice nice to kind of have a variety so that they're staggered and you have something for, you know, every couple weeks there's a new fruit going on your property, which I absolutely love that. But the birds definitely love these. So I'm going to see if I can find a really ripe cherry. Oh, there's a couple in here. I don't know if you can catch it on video. I'll bring you in a little bit closer in a moment. This is one of the lighter, so I really think this is the Valentine. It tends to be a more red in color, more red cherry. When you get into like the Romeo, the Juliet, the Cupid, they tend to be like a really dark, rich cherry, which should be one of these because I think I planted one of every kind here. And I do have some cherries coming down here, but this one is one of the fastest growing cherries that we've had. These two here, they're a little bit behind. This one is starting to get some cherries, not a whole lot, but there's probably about at least a dozen. And the one just down here, it's just starting to it's still got the green little cherries on it. This one is just starting to redden up, and this one's just about almost done. I quite enjoy these. My daughter still says they're a bit tart, but if I'm thinking of a tart sour cherry, I'm thinking of like a very tart fruit. And it's not much different from the ones in the store. They are a bit more tart than the ones in the store, but they're actually sweeter than I thought they would be. So they have like a high Brix reading, which is a Brix reading is basically reading the sugar content in your fruit. I'm going to try this one out. That's not bad. I could eat these fresh. I love them. They still got the little pits in them. As you can see, there's a good number of fruits on this. They will get a little bit darker than this and sweeten up a little bit more, but this is the bottom. So the birds definitely have not got to the bottom of this bush, but they've definitely eaten everything that they have found at the top of the bush. I'm just in love with these cherries. I can't tell you how full this bush was yesterday. They're looking really good. Really, really good. Oh yes, you can see the evidence. Something has been eating my cherries all up. Like you can see all this on the ground. Wow. And you can see just how dark some of these have gotten. There's a good indication here. Oh, there it is. So this is an indication on how like dark, kind of how rich and dark they can get. This one's been eaten by some sort of bird or whatever. You can see the contrast. This is when they're ripe, and this is what they look like unripe. Yeah, so yesterday, all in here. Look at that. You can see all these here actually had cherries on them. Those little pests. You know, when you're planting, you really got to think about planting one for the animals and two for yourself. So this is the other bush. It's a different variety, so it's a bit later. You can see that the cherries on this one are green. And they should be, like there's not as many on this one. So some of the varieties actually grow a bit later. So I think, it could be wrong, but it could be Valentine, or it could be Carmine Jewel, which is another variety of the Romance series. One of those two actually produce fruit before the rest of them, which is why I think this one here that's had all the cherries on it probably is one of those two varieties. And then we've got a different variety here. So as you can see, this one's a bit later of producing in the season. It's not quite ready, and there's a lot of green kind of cherries on this one. This one is the other one that I have. I've still got one or two more in a different location. This one is a significantly smaller. I'll just back up so you can see. So we've got this one here, all planted at the same time as this one. And then there's that one, which was planted. They're all planted at the same time, but this one over here, you can see is almost as tall as this one, but this one has not quite made it up there yet. And this one is producing fruit for the first time. It didn't produce fruit last year at all, but you can see that it's summer coming on. It's a bit later. than the other variety. And I don't do much with these. These are kind of, I plant them once and I just keep around the bottom hedge there. I just keep it trimmed. And that's all. You just plant and walk away and let it do its thing. But remembering to check that you're getting a lot of the fruits before the birds do. A lot of new growth. The nice thing about these is that they are actually self-pollinating. If you plant 2 of the same variety of a self-pollinating plant, you'll get way more fruit than you will a planting 1. Now you can go online and you can check out the varieties. There's Romeo, Juliet, Crimson Passion, Valentine, Cupid, and Carmine Jewel. And you can see which ones that you might want to plant because each of them are a little bit different. Some have a darker shade of red, some have a lighter shade of red, some produce more earlier in the year than others, and some are sweeter than others as well. There's some really dark ones in here. That's great. That's what we're looking for. Yeah, you know, if I would have collected them yesterday, I would have had a fantastic harvest from this. I'm impressed. I want to say like these bushes go for, depending on the size, I think like how old the seedling is, they could go anywhere from about $15 to $30 per bush, which isn't bad at all, considering the prices that you would pay for cherries at the store. Anyways, this is a really great alternative for getting some cherries that are great for northern climates.